Gentlemen, and welcome to the Ph.D. ceremony here at Georgia Tech as we get set to start off a slate of commencements over the next couple of days. My name is Bryce Zimmerman with Georgia Tech Institute Communications, and thank you for being here. We do have some things that we need to go over for you, some final instructions. You thought you were done with Georgia Tech, but we do have some final instructions. So Ph.D. students and folks in the stands, please pay attention as we go over these instructions. What will happen is one of our event members will walk up and lift you out of the row that you are in. Okay, they'll tell you to get up and you'll walk down this way. As you're doing that, what we want you to do right now is go ahead and get out your phone and get your grad pass ready. Here's a pro tip. Go ahead and take a picture of that so you've got a snapshot on your phone. It's going to be very important. Sometimes Wi-Fi will go out with this many people taking photos and sharing them, so make sure you've got that. As you walk this way on your grad pass, here we go, yeah. We can go ahead and show this. So grad pass is, you've already taken a snapshot of this, okay? And brightness all the way up. That's very important. Brightness all the way up. And so she will then walk this way, and as she makes her way, you'll hear a beep. Now, you didn't hear it out there, but we heard it here. If there's a beep and a green light, that means you're good to go. If there is no beep or green light, don't panic. Just step to the side, and one of our members here will help you out. Okay, so then you wait in line. Now, hold on one sec. We're going to walk this through with a little bit of an example. So as you're waiting in line, you'll get the go-ahead to move up. The advisor will move with you. There's two black X's here, one for the advisor, one for the Ph.D. candidate. The Ph.D. candidate at this point, you'll want to kneel just a little bit, hand your hood to your advisor, hood on the right arm as you walk up the stage, please. Kneel just a little bit. There's the hooding. Everyone cheers. Everyone will be very excited. We'll do it for real in just a little bit. And now you get the opportunity to shake Dr. Cabrera's hand. As you are done shaking the hand, and you'll receive our certificate that looks like a diploma. It's not one. You'll get that one in the mail. You'll get that, and then you'll walk around the stage, move to the right, follow the directions here for your opportunity to take a photo. So they'll go in, take the photo, pretend to do one here, and then once the photo is completed, you'll move around the back side of this line here and all the way back to your row from where you started. Okay, very simple. Shouldn't be too hard. Remember to take those photos of your grad passes. Make sure you've got that ready. Also, everybody in attendance in the stands and here in the chairs as you get ready, please be aware that many graduates are crossing the stage, so be courteous, be kind, cheer for your graduates, but make sure that you're not covering up someone else's special moment. All right, we're going to start this thing off in just a little bit. Thank you very much. Congratulations. You are about to become Ph.D. students who have graduated from Georgia Tech.
good afternoon and welcome. Buenas tardes, bienvenidos. Please rise and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well done, guys. Well done. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you to our chamber choir for that beautiful rendition. Please be seated. My name is Angel Cabrera, and I have the privilege of serving as Georgia Tech's president. Before we get started today, I would like for us to take a moment to recognize all veterans, active duty members, and first responders with us today. If you have served in any branch of the U.S. military or have served as a first responder, please rise so we can thank you for your service. Thank you. Now, graduates and members of the faculty and staff, distinguished guests, families, and friends, my heart is full as I welcome you to the 267th commencement exercises of the Georgia Institute of Technology. It is a true pleasure to be together in celebration of these graduates and their academic achievements. We have a few special messages for you today. The first one is from one of our graduating students. I am pleased to introduce Bilal Mufti, a Ph.D. candidate in aerospace engineering, who will give the reflection. Bilal? Thank you for doing this. Enjoy.
It's an honor for me to speak here today after President Cabrera, who also happens to be a fellow Fulbright alumni. Faculty, family and friends, my wife Amna, my sons Zavian and Nail, and my fellow PhD graduates. Today, I want to share a story with you that started with a very simple word, maybe. Back in my undergraduate dorm room in Pakistan, I stumbled upon a photo of my mentor standing proudly in front of Tech Tower. When being on Facebook was still considered cool, I looked at that image and whispered to myself, maybe, just maybe, I could one day be at Georgia Tech. It was a distant dream, an uncertain hope that seemed too bold to voice aloud. But here's the incredible thing about maybe. It's a seed of possibility, a spark that ignites a journey. While superheroes might have clear paths and destinies, we mortals, we embrace the unknown of maybe. We started on this challenging path of a PhD journey at Georgia Tech, a journey marked by sleepless nights, unanswered questions, and some occasional existential crisis. Yet we face these challenges with curiosity, determination, and the unwavering support of the Georgia Tech community. My fellow graduates, we are braver than any superhero because without capes or shields, we entered into the arenas of our PhD committees, stood our ground, and earned the right to be here today. We are stronger because we did not dismantle our challenges using a super hammer. We broke them down piece by piece through grit and perseverance. We are wiser because we did not start with all the answers. We spent years developing ideas, testing them, and once confronted with evidence, we had the courage to accept that we were wrong and to seek new solutions. Yet, like any hero's journey, we did not accomplish this alone. Our families and friends took late-night calls, listened to our doubts, and motivated us to press on. Our professors and mentors offered guidance during coffee chats and impromptu meetings. And let's not forget our fellow Yellow Jackets, who turned midnight breakfast during exam weeks into moments of joy, lifted our spirits with candy giveaways in the library, and sang the fight song alongside during the Georgia Tech games. These shared experiences defined our Rambling Wreck journey. Looking back at that moment in my dorm room, the moment of maybe, I now realize it was beginning of an extraordinary adventure for me that has brought me here. Today, as we don our hoods, that maybe, transformed by the lessons learned at Georgia Tech, has turned into an always. Always striving for knowledge, always pushing boundaries, always ready to face the challenges ahead. As we step into the next chapter of our lives, let's remember that it's okay to start with a maybe. Embracing uncertainty is the strength that propels us forward. It's the first step in becoming the heroes the world needs. Not those with capes or superpowers, but those who dare to ask, what if, and work tirelessly to make it happen. Congratulations, fellow graduates. Let's turn our maybes into always, and together, let's engineer a better tomorrow. Go Yellow Jackets!
Well done. Thank you. Thank you, Bilal. So, graduates, today you are joining an impressive family of Georgia Tech alumni, a community of leaders, of innovators, of thinkers and doers who are making a difference across our state and around the world. Many of them are here today to celebrate your success. Our alumni appreciate your accomplishment perhaps more than anyone, and they may even be part of the reason why you're here today. To all our alumni joining us, please stand, any alums in the house, so that we can recognize you. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. And now to welcome you formally into the Fellowship of Georgia Tech Alumni, I'm pleased to introduce Tommy Harrington, an industrial management graduate from the class of 1982 and the chair of the Georgia Tech Alumni Association Board of Trustees. Tommy? Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Tommy Harrington, a proud alumnus and chair of the Georgia Tech Alumni Association Board of Trustees. Graduates, you are now members of one of the most powerful and coveted networks in the world, the Georgia Tech Alumni Association. You all now are alumni along with more than 200,000 of your closest Tech family members. While each of your pursuits is unique and the contributions of our alumni span every industry on every continent, we are proud together, proud of Georgia Tech's reputation, proud of each other's accomplishment, and proud of the work that went into earning your degree. We also share traits from our time at Georgia Tech. We share the ability to problem solve and to persevere. When we work together to take on life's biggest challenges, we can. When we set out to positively impact the world, we will. And when we join together to make a difference, we do. One of the biggest ways you can make a difference is through roll call. For 78 years, the Fund of Excellence has positively impacted our current and future students. You may notice there are a number of you wearing the little roll call pins as part of their regalia, and we thank you for that. These students have already given to roll call. This is to support other students and the Transforming Tomorrow campaign. And we share the value of our community. No matter where you go, you will find other Yellow Jackets along the way who will open doors for you. The only thing more powerful than your degree is the relationships that you take with you. We encourage you to get involved with the Alumni Association. We will provide you with job leads, networking opportunities, events on campus and in your local communities, and future friendships. Georgia Tech will always be your home, and the Alumni Association is with you for a lifetime. Welcome to the family, and go Jackets!
Thank you, Tommy. So this weekend, beginning today, we are going to celebrate 6,405 graduates from the Georgia Tech class of 2024. We're awarding 1,700 bachelor's degrees, more than 4,000 master's, and almost 400 doctoral degrees if you add the summer and the fall semesters. The Ph.D. degrees that we award today represent 26 countries and a multitude of disciplines. Now, it's pretty interesting to think that all the scholars that assembled here today, together they know how to build satellites and robots, bridges, medical devices. They can create, and some already are running businesses. Some of them will be shaping better policies. They're versed in chemistry, and biology, and psychology. They can mine intelligence from complex data. They understand how markets and governments work and what our collective history teaches us about our future. These soon-to-be graduates have traveled the world. They can communicate in dozens of languages. They have learned to listen to others. They want to know what others have to say, even when they disagree. They have learned to work and to learn from people who are different from themselves. These people are confident, capable, creative problem solvers. They have learned the power of collaboration. They have been empowered to lead. And because of all of that, they make me extremely hopeful about our future. Now, but for all this potential to make a difference, there is something I want you to remember. The two words on our seal, progress and service. Now, these two words define us as a community and signify our belief in the power of innovation and ingenuity to serve a greater purpose, to improve the human condition. We don't believe in technology for its own sake, but because of its potential to help people live better lives. Some of you will join well-established organizations and will contribute to make them do better. Others will create your own startups. Some of you are going to start careers in academia or in government. And I know you will be successful, whatever path you choose. But remember that your true success will not be measured by how much money you make, but by the value you create for others. Now, don't get me wrong. Money you will make, some of you, a lot of it. And I warn you, when you're rich and famous, we'll call you, we'll find you. We'll remember where you went to school. We'll remind you where you went to school. I have a beautiful building waiting for you, your name on it. But now, seriously, at the end of your journeys, what will make you proud, what will make your family and all of us proud, is what you did to lift others up, what you did to make a difference in our world. No pressure. As we like to say around here, we can do that. And I know you are ready to tackle any challenge that may come your way. Now, today we celebrate you, your accomplishments, and your potential. And I'd like to thank you beforehand for all the great things I know you will go on to do. Now, joining us here in person and some online are family members, friends, colleagues whose love and support have helped make this day possible. These yellow jackets know perfectly well they wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, and for that, we thank all of you. Thank you. I want to also thank the faculty who have guided you and who are very proudly going to be walking up with you. Faculty who have guided and mentored the students, who have offered their time, their wisdom, their expertise to help you reach your fullest potential. So I would ask that all the faculty members with us today stand up so we can recognize you. Thank you. Now I'm honored to introduce some members of the leadership team who are joining us here on the platform. Please hold your applause as they stand when I call their names. We have Larry Jacobs, our Senior Vice Provost for Education and Learning, and he is today our hooting assistant. He's been practicing for this. He's fully ready for this. We have Michelle Reinhardt, Vice Provost for Faculty, Vivek Sarkar, Dean of the College of Computing, Irfan Essa, Senior Associate Dean of the College of Computing, Becky Grinter, Associate Dean, College of Computing, Richard Utz, Interim Dean of Ivan Allen College of Liberal Arts, Aaron Levine, Associate Dean of the Ivan Allen College of Liberal Arts, Russell Gentry, Associate Dean, College of Design, Suman Ghosh, Senior Associate Dean, Scheller College of Business, Laura Candonati, Associate Dean, College of Sciences, Yong-Hu Chang, Associate Dean, College of Sciences, Kim Curtis, Associate Dean, College of Engineering, Leslie Sharp, Dean of Libraries, Tim Lewin, our Interim Executive Vice President for Research, Abigail Tumpy, who's our Vice President, Institute of Communications, Becky Tankersley, Director of Communications and Enrollment Management, and our mace bearer today, Professor Dimitri Mavris, the Class of 1934 Distinguished Professor. Thank you. The ones I did mention is because they have their own introduction. It's not that they did anything wrong. I just want to make clear. I know some of you may not believe it, but we are fully aware of how hard we've made you work to cross the stage. We understand the obstacles you all overcame these past few years, and we congratulate you on crossing this finish line. Many of you know I've played different roles at Georgia Tech over the years. I've been a student, an alum, a parent, an advisor, and now president. I even found my spouse, Beth, here. So I know very well that being a yellow jacket is something exceedingly special. The Georgia Tech diploma is something you will treasure for the rest of your life. It can be, will be transformative. It was for me. And like so many other doctoral students throughout the generations, I can proudly say that nothing I have accomplished in my career would have been possible without the opportunities I had at Georgia Tech and without the people that I met here. So now it's your turn. You are forever connected to this great institution, and we cannot wait to see the great things you will continue to do. It's now time to look ahead, to push forward, to go out and make an impact on the world like only yellow jackets can. Congratulations, class of 2024. Now I have, there you are. I have the distinct pleasure of presenting our speaker and Georgia Tech legend, Dimitri Mavris. Dimitri is this year's recipient of the highest honor given to a Georgia Tech professor, and that is the Class of 1934 Distinguished Professor Award. Some people ask, why the Class of 1934? Because they gave the money for the award. Just saying. The award is presented to a professor who has made significant long-term contributions that have brought widespread recognition to the professor, to their school, and to the institute. Now, Dimitri has been a member of the Georgia Tech community for the past 44 years. He first arrived as an undergraduate, traveling from his hometown of Athens, Greece, to pursue a bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering. That led him to pursue a master's degree, then a Ph.D., then a career as a teacher and researcher, all at Georgia Tech. As director of the Aerospace Systems Design Laboratory and executive director of the Professional Masters in Applied Systems Engineering, he has championed growth and changes, both curricular and institutional, to push the College of Engineering and the School of Aerospace Engineering in ways that have produced and supported some of the top minds entering the engineering workforce. In the process, ASDL has become the go-to lab for technology assessments and is recognized as a global leader in systems design, architecting, and optimization. Yet it is his deep dedication to mentorship that defines his legacy and his commitment to the Georgia Tech motto of progress and service. In his own words, there will always be another hill to climb, but really the only thing that matters in the end is the journey and the people you met and helped along the way. I'll add one piece of information. Very soon, no pressure to the current students in his lab, he may reach 300 PhD students. Dimitri, I think you have produced, yeah, that's crazy. Dimitri may have produced more PhD students than some doctoral programs around the country. It is amazing the impact that you have had. We're proud of you, grateful for you, and you have a floor, my friend. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mavris.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope there is excitement. After all, there are very few days in our lives that are characterized by pure happiness. So, President Cabrera, thank you for the kind remarks. Greetings to the Georgia Tech administration and leadership, and all the ladies and gentlemen in the audience. And of course, good afternoon to the graduating class of 2024. I'm thrilled to be here to share with you in your special day. And looking at your faces, I see a spectrum of emotions. I can see elation, excitement, pride, about 10 of you. The remainder, I see relief. And I have to say that when I was in your shoes, that's exactly what I felt. So I'm especially honored to have the opportunity to give this commencement speech, since I received all my degrees, as President Cabrera said, from this university. And as I was reflecting about my beginnings at Georgia Tech, I recall that I didn't make it to Georgia Tech out of school. My sister, who was a student here, my brother-in-law, kept on telling me to apply to Tech, but they never said Georgia Tech. So when I applied, apparently they couldn't find my application because it had ended up to the Atlanta area Tech across the city. So it was the other Tech in Atlanta that could have been my alma mater, and I might have been giving this speech there today instead of here. Every time I go to the airport, I drive by just to say hello, you know. So somehow, 44 years later, a journey that started as telling to my parents that I'm going off for 4 years and I'll be right back, it became 44 years, and they're still waiting for me. And many of you, probably, you will be following those same footsteps, you know. Best decision I've ever made in my life. I think this is the greatest melting pot. I met people from all countries around the world. I don't think I could have had this experience if I was to pursue any other type of a career. It's also a special day for me, too, because once again, I have quite a few of my PhD students that are finishing. That's always a bittersweet moment. On one moment, you're very happy because finally the journey is over and the next chapter of their life is beginning, but you're very attached to them also, and a little piece of you goes away with them leaving you. Hopefully, you know, it's not a goodbye, but it's till I see you again. You also met one of my PhD students, Bilal, who gave the reflection totally by coincidence. He was the person who gave our reflection here today. So looking at the general audience today, as I said, I see a lot of happiness, and then I look at the families, and that's really where the happiness and the pride resides. Obviously, you know, as parents, we always worry about our loved ones. We don't know if they're going to make it. Procrastinating, doing homework late at night, or asking for our help when we're very tired. Not knowing if they're going to make it. Well, they finally made it, so here they are. There is no more grades after this one, okay? At the end of this summer, there is not fall that they're going to go to the next grade. They have to go forward now, so it's a big, big moment, crossroads in their lives. So, of course, without your unconditional love and encouragement, support, this would not have been possible. We all are brought here because of the support of others. So in my personal experience, there are only, as I said, a handful of moments in life that we are truly happy. And the moments when you feel such pride and happiness for someone else's accomplishments, it's even more special indeed. So today, I want you to take a moment and witness one of those days in your life and cherish it. So for the graduates in the audience, I can sympathize and empathize with how you're feeling right now. When I graduated with my Ph.D., it was exactly 36 years ago in this building, maybe plus or minus a couple of days. And at the time, all I felt was a blend of fatigue and relief. I recall that when I got home that night, I didn't know what to do with myself. I felt that I should be reading a paper, writing something. And after such a big undertaking as finishing a PhD thesis, I admit that I had no plans as to what to do the day after. And maybe a lot of you were so caught in the moment of finishing this thing that you have no plan. So the good news is that the general feeling went away by Monday, okay? So Saturday night, Friday night, Thursday night for you tonight might be difficult. You will get there by Monday. So the commencement ceremony signifies the end of your educational journey. One chapter closes, another one begins. So it's time to shift gears now and become practitioners of what you learned and help others in their journeys. Again, progress and service, as Professor Cabrera said. I know what a journey you just have completed. We're doing this daily. In fact, the reason why I know how to do PhDs today is because I practiced it every day. So the first PhD, mine wasn't particularly good. So as you're progressing, you know, you're doing better and better. In fact, the PhD you wrote is probably the worst PhD you will ever write, okay? So there is hope for improvement, okay? So just keep on going. So all PhDs have a story of their trials and tribulations as they work through their thesis. And in addition to making a contribution in your technical field, through your thesis, you have proven yourself worthy of the Doctor of Philosophy. And I'm using the full name of the degree intentionally to stress that it's more than just the technical expertise you have developed. The topic you selected was not necessarily the most important aspect of this endeavor. In fact, spoiler alert, your diploma will not have the title of your topic or even the department name on it, okay? It would just say Doctor of Philosophy. Now that you have completed your PhDs, you probably have a much better understanding and appreciation of how difficult it is at times for new ideas to get generated, evolve, and gain acceptance. And probably your advisor at times was an impersonation of that type of a principle. So quoting the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, all truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Secondly, it is violently opposed. And thirdly, it is accepted as self-evident. So I'm sure that all of you have gone through that process, that you thought you had a great idea, they made fun of you, and then eventually they told you that it was self-evident. So the rigorous training you have just completed for your degree has set you now on a path of discovery and truth-seeking, and this sets you apart from others who have done the same thing before you. So by being conferred with a PhD, you have demonstrated that you have learned how to think, how to persuade an audience, and how to form and substantiate arguments. And this educational process has also given you an appreciation of not just engineering, but social sciences, logic and rhetoric, all the things that you didn't want to take as undergraduates because they were electives. So since I've been at Georgia Tech for 40 years, I was counting to 82 graduations. So as you can imagine, I have heard a range of speeches from career reminiscences to history lessons, from reflections of the importance of STEM education to advice on how to be successful. I even once attended a ceremony where the speaker offered a review of the state of the art in statistics. This is not going to be one of those, okay? So as I was considering what I could offer to you today in the form of grandfatherly advice, I decided to share some of my hopefully valuable tips of what I have learned along the way, and they have served me. So I will limit it to 8 succinct suggestions, and we will enumerate them so you don't lose count and you're paying attention, okay? So once a teacher, always a teacher, okay? So number 1, hard work by itself is not enough. By completing this degree, you have proven you can work hard. Georgia Tech is, after all, not in the habit of handing out degrees for showing up. To be successful now and to advance in your career, your efforts need to be visible and recognizable. So advocate for yourselves. This does not mean talking a good game without the results to back it up, but rather to be confident in your work and your abilities. Number 2, networking is not negotiable. As you leave Georgia Tech, you will leave behind many colleagues you have interacted with during your time. In fact, one of the biggest things that you did while you were here is you created a network. This network will be with you for the remainder of your careers. So as you start now, you're going to build new networks. The job hasn't stopped with the friends that you met. You will be meeting friends constantly, colleagues. And although most of you are too young to know what it is to have a Rolodex, you all know how important connections are for our personal and professional lives. So while your skills are important, it is your connections that will open doors for new opportunities. So without connections, I believe that my career trajectory would not have been the same. So be aware, build your networks, keep on working it, invest in them. Number 3, burnout is not a badge of honor. I'm sure most of you have burned out at one time or another during your time at Georgia Tech. Hopefully, this was not your constant state of affairs. As you figure out ways to study and work more efficiently, hopefully you'll learn how to mitigate and mediate those types of feelings and sentiments. Remember to find ways to nurture and protect yourselves, as it will help propel you throughout your career. While I have been doing what I do for many, many years, and at times it can be challenging and exhausting, in my case, interacting with students have always re-energized me, kept me alive and vibrant. And then I started reflecting. That was part of it. The second part was lots of Diet Coke to be caffeinated constantly. Number 4, remember that you are always replaceable. No matter who you are and what stage of your career, this is very hard to hear. We all want to believe that we have unique skills, that we make important contributions, and that we cannot be replaced. But that is rarely the case. My advice is to focus on doing the job well, no matter what the task is, instead of trying to be irreplaceable. One of the many admirable things about this institute is that it fosters an environment that encourages this kind of thinking. Number 5, I hope you're keeping track, right? Number 5, perfection slows you down. As Professor Cabrera said, I have advised a number of Ph.D. students over the years, and I have seen many of them become truly paralyzed by perfection. So paralyzed that progress on their thesis grinds to a halt, and they end up taking longer than they should finish. In fact, at times, I have to remind them that there is no tenure for graduate students. In other cases, I make analogies to Greek mythology and the Odyssey, and I tell them not to become lotus eaters, okay? Do not eat the lotus and forget what the mission was. So my advice is to aim for progress instead of perfection. Being done, achieving your goal is better than being perfect. Doing it on time, better than being a minute late. Number 6, comfort zones tend to limit your growth. As my students will attest, part of my educational approach to them from the very beginning is to push them out of their comfort zones. In fact, even in the interviews, we're telling them that we would like them to try things that they haven't done before because their experiences are very limited. So instead of working only on projects in the area of expertise, I ask them to work on topics that truly they do know nothing about. In the 10, 15 minutes that we're here, more things have been created that if we were to dedicate the remainder of our lives to learn that, we will run out of time. So our way of processing information should change, and we should not be afraid of challenging problems, new problems, and if we have a way of learning, we will properly figure it out. Number 7, strive for shared success. Although you have proven you can achieve individual success with your PhD, remember that there were a lot of people that they were involved in this journey, helping you and supporting you, some of them more visibly than others. And much of your career, you will work on teams collaborating towards a shared goal. So team cohesion and success relies on everyone contributing their part and giving credit when credit is due. And then finally, number 8, maintain a work-life balance. This has become a catchphrase over recent years, and while you need to work hard to be successful, it is also important to take care of yourselves and the people around in these recommendations that you can take with you. This can now go on record as your final lecture at Georgia Tech, so congratulations. Maybe after that we could give you a diploma. So in closing, on behalf of the Georgia Tech faculty, I would like to recognize all the parents and loved ones in the audience today. So let's give the family members who provided unconditional love and support a big round of applause for their support to getting you here. And to the advisors of the graduates who are with us here today, your mentorship during their studies ensures that they can start their careers well-trained and prepared, able to tackle any challenge without hand-holding. Let's all show them again our appreciation for their efforts and contributions to your achievement. And for our new doctors, I'm sure you're happy and proud to be done with this stage of the journey. Some of you have been uncertain about where your path leads you after Georgia Tech. Whatever you do next, I wish you a great adventure ahead. Remember to hit the ground running. You can only make one first impression, so it better be a good one. We're looking forward to hearing of the great, exciting things that you will accomplish in your life. Thank you again for letting me be part of this special occasion in your lives. Congratulations on your achievement and good luck at your continued journey. Go Jackets.
I would have saved a few wrong turns. Thank you so much. All right, so we now come to the time you've been waiting for, the hooting. So we now come to the time you've been waiting for, the hooting ceremony. So walking across the stage, and it's very important that you do that. So walking across the stage, and it's very important that you do that for two reasons. One, I'm pleased to welcome our Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Steve McLaughlin, who will present the candidates for doctoral degrees. Steve?
All right. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. Thank you, President Cabrera. Candidates for doctoral degrees, please rise and remain standing. That's y'all. President Cabrera, I have the distinct honor of presenting to you those candidates for doctoral degrees who have completed the requirements for those degrees.
Dr. Jarelis Gonzalez Vargas, advised by J. Brandon Dixon. Dr. Sidney Chris Ginn, advised by Rebecca Levitt. Dr. Adriana Catalina Mulero Ruz, advised by Andres Garcia. Dr. Elijah Nathaniel Marquez, advised by Andres Garcia. Dr. Olga Brushkina, advised by Michael E. Davis. Dr. Kenneth De Jesus Morales, advised by Michael E. Davis. Dr. Bilal Mufti, advised by Dimitri Mavris. Dr. Alicia Keiko Hong, advised by Dr. Dimitri Mavris. Dr. Carl Wong Chen Rausch, advised by Dimitri Mavris. Dr. Stephanie Nicole Introne, advised by Dimitri Mavris. Dr. Richard Xavier Touré, advised by Kareem Sabra.
Dr. Ananye Bardway.
Dr. George Samaras. Dr. Nicole Annette Casoris, advised by Mary Beth Coleman. Dr. Nicole Annette Casoris, advised by Mary Beth Coleman. Dr. Jonathan Clifford Ballock, advised by Mark O. Riedel. Dr. Karen Samer, advised by Irfan Essa. Dr. Yunbo Zhang, advised by Greg Turk. Dr. Niranjan Kumar, advised by Sehun Ha and Irfan Essa. Dr. Arpit Ajay Narachania, advised by Alex Endert. Dr. Ha-Yong Song, advised by John Stasko. Dr. Yifan Ma, advised by Hailong Chen. Dr. Zhaonan Liu, advised by Chuck Zhang and Ben Wang. Dr. Zachary Stephen Courtwright, advised by Surya Raju Kalidindi. Dr. Taylor Sloop, advised by Josh Katcher and Naresh Tadani. Dr. Ting-Yu Chung, advised by Gregory D. Aboud and Hyunju Oh. Dr. Dan Monga Kilanga, advised by Seth Hutchinson. Dr. Yi Ren, advised by Ryan Lively. Dr. Youngju Lee, advised by Ryan P. Lively. Dr. Elisa Schrader Echeverry, advised by James Dahlman. Dr. Ryan Zenhauser, advised by James Dahlman. Dr. Yanina Kuzminich, advised by James Dahlman.
Dr. Amelie Atasi, advised by Natalie Stinglin and Shannon Yee.
Dr. Kelsey Ann Cavallaro, advised by Matthew McDowell. Dr. Salem Clay Wright, advised by Matthew McDowell. Dr. Abdulaziz Shamsa, advised by Ye Zhao. Dr. Tyler Franklin Tippins, advised by Sven Simon. Dr. Anirudh Sivakumar, advised by Gabriel Kwong. Dr. Ali H. Zamat, advised by Gabe Kwong. Dr. Do-Wan Kim, advised by Corey Wilson. Dr. Ziqiao Zhang, advised by Fumin Zhang. Dr. Andrew Joseph Christoph, advised by John Blazak. Dr. Andrew Paul Kazir, advised by John Blazak. Dr. Dimitri Margot. Dr. Dari Alanese, advised by Jianjun Shi and Jing Li. Dr. Benjamin Wilson, advised by James Hayes. Dr. Coleman Delude, advised by Justin Keith Romberg. Dr. Matthew R. McKinley. Dr. Oscar Fernando Romero Matamala, advised by Adam Nepamuk Ote. Dr. Anupama Govinda Raj, advised by Dr. James H. McClellan. Dr. Junjiao Tian, advised by Zult Kira. Dr. Hannah Griggs, advised by Laura Cadenati. Dr. Tel Peter Lott IV. Dr. Woo-Sung Choi, advised by Vladimir Sukruk and Zichin Lin. Dr. Zoe Amanda Alexander, advised by Christopher Saldana. Dr. Caroline Ellen Massey, advised by Christopher Saldana. Dr. Lauren Eileen Heinrich, advised by Christopher Saldana. Dr. Jairo Yobani Maldonado Contreras, advised by Aaron J. Young. Dr. Alexander Nicholas Caputo, advised by Rick New. Dr. Alexander Nicholas Caputo. Dr. Oduolape Ogenetega, advised by Krista Walton.
Dr. Kentuan Rogers, advised by Sonia Chernova.
Dr. Benjamin Cody John, advised by Mark Losego. Dr. Evan Blake Sandler, advised by Adele Field Fote and Richard Nichols. Dr. Chase Gerald Rock, advised by Yung Hui Chang. Dr. Fan Jiang, advised by Frank Delart and Ashutosh Dekne. Dr. Shu Wang, advised by Roger Jiao.
Dr. Hu Hu, advised by Chen Hui Li.
Dr. Yushin Sun, advised by Anthony Yezi. Dr. Shangkang Chen, advised by Fumin Zhang and Ronald C. Arkin. Dr. Awaz Raj Pokral, advised by Peter J. Yunker. Dr. Pablo Bravo, advised by Peter Yunker. Dr. Adam James Kruger, advised by Peter Yunker. Dr. Maxwell David Pollock, advised by Bud Peterson. Dr. Chung Jae Lee, advised by Pascal Van Hentenryck. Dr. Keyu Ju, advised by Pascal Van Hentenryck. Dr. Harshit Kumar, advised by Sabal Mukhopadhyay. Dr. Bom Sok Kang, advised by Sabal Mukhopadhyay. Dr. Nathan Eli Miller, advised by Sabal Mukhopadhyay. Dr. Yaojun Yoon, advised by Jacob Abernathy and Vidya Muthukumar. Dr. Min Jae Kim, advised by Jian Luo. Dr. Hui Ying Fan, advised by Randall Gensler. Dr. Tanner Reed Passmore, advised by Kari Watkins and Randall Gensler. Dr. John Huntoon, advised by J. David Frost. Dr. Danrong Zhang, advised by J. David Frost and Nimisha Roy. Dr. Jiaojun Liu, advised by J. David Frost. Dr. Katie Bradford, advised by Dr. Kimberly Curtis and Dr. Russell Gentry. Dr. Devin P. Kumar. Dr. Nadine Fahed, advised by Lauren Stewart and Yang Wang. Dr. Christian Camilo Guerrero Castro, advised by Juan Carlos Santamarina. Dr. Zachary Gray Carter, advised by C.K. Chris Wong.
Dr. Luke Makovich, advised by Chris Wong.
Dr. Stephen Michael Hirchko, advised by Dr. Chris Wong. Dr. Cooper A. Voigt, advised by Eric M. Vogel and Brent K. Wagner. Dr. Afra Ibnat Toma. Dr. Raghav Tandon, advised by Cassie Sue Mitchell. Dr. Amar Osman, advised by Yogendra Joshi. Dr. Mayar Mossad Alam, advised by Ahmet Koskun. Dr. Shuang Yi Kai, advised by Ahmet Koskun. Dr. Arindam Mandal, advised by Visvesh Sate. Dr. Subham Kim, advised by Samuel Coogan and Magnus Egerstedt. Dr. Matthew Landon, advised by Wenke Lee and Saman Zonus. Dr. Noman Ahad, advised by Mark A. Davenport. Dr. Alejandro Daniel Owen Aquino, advised by Daniel K. Molzan. Dr. Babak Taheri, advised by Daniel Molzan. Dr. Tamara Lambert, advised by Omer Inan. Dr. Elizaveta Gonchar, advised by Usha Nair Reichert. Dr. Ian Taylor Helfrich, advised by Tibor Besedis and Usha Nair Reichert. Dr. Yuan Qing Tian, advised by Roger Ball. Dr. Jishang Zhao, Dr. Mu-Jin Marie Yang Wang, advised by Mustaq Ahmad. Dr. Shikhar Shah, advised by Edmund Chow. Dr. Hua Huang, advised by Edmund Chow. Dr. Jinwoo Go, advised by Peng Chen.
Dr. Min Soo Kim, advised by Woon Hong Yo.
Dr. Yoon Jae Lee, advised by Woon Hong Yo. Dr. Shin Jing, advised by Fanish Sarayanarayana. Dr. Yuhan Yang, advised by Rodney J. Weber. Dr. Sabrina Westgate, advised by Sally Ng. Dr. Casey Logan Smith, advised by Dr. Will Gudekunst. Dr. Jessica Michelle Deutsch, advised by Neha Garg. Dr. Carter Keith Asif, advised by Facundo Fernandez. Dr. Alexander Sean Weidenbach, advised by William Allen Doolittle. Dr. Edward Lee, advised by Ari Glezer. Dr. Gabriel Peridou de Charlotte, advised by Ari Glezer. Dr. Bastian Matias Bahamondes Pizarro, advised by Matthew Dahan. Dr. Daniel Kim, advised by Pinar Kaskanochak. Dr. Akane Fujimoto Wakabayashi, advised by Pinar Kaskanochak. Dr. Jeffrey Ronald Smith, Jr., advised by Yao Xie. Dr. Zhang Dong, advised by Yao Xie. Dr. Haoyun Wang. Dr. Hyunji Lee, advised by Hang Lu. Dr. Michaela Ann Gray, advised by Julie Ann Champion. Dr. Ke Xin Hu, advised by Manos M. Tenzeris. Dr. Wen Yuan Song. Dr. Sebastian Daniel Jacques Henry, advised by John A. Christian. Dr. Ho-Hyun Lee, advised by Costas Arvanitis. Dr. Chul-Yong Kim, advised by Costas Arvanitis. Dr. Siyao Tai, advised by A.P. Sakis Meliopoulos. Dr. Zhangrong Chen. Dr. Kwando Ma, advised by Abhijit Chatterjee. Dr. Spencer Drew Follick.
Dr. Clayton Fustel, advised by Craig Zimri and Keith Edwards.
Dr. Chin Sung Park, advised by Asif Isam Khan and Shimong Yu. Dr. Wenbo Pang, advised by Zhaohui Tong. Dr. Pengfei Chang, advised by Joseph K. Scott. Dr. Bowen Mu, advised by Joseph Scott. Dr. Jonathan O'Neill, advised by Saad Bamla. Dr. Catherine Elise Leffler, advised by Ravi Kane. Dr. Nikki MacArthur, advised by Ravi Kane. Dr. Harry Toison, advised by Saad Bamla. Dr. Kento Tomita, advised by Koki Ho. Dr. Nishant Deshmukh, advised by Michael A. Filler. Dr. Philippos Phodiatis, advised by Kyriakos G. Vamvodakis. Dr. Nikolaos Marios Kokalakis, advised by Kyriakos G. Vamvodakis. Dr. Chavi, advised by Mitchell L. R. Walker. Dr. Sung-Hyun Kim, advised by Moonmoon De Chowdhury.
Dr. Sachin Ravi Pence, advised by Moonmoon Deshaudry.
Dr. Jacob Russell Williamson. Dr. Manoj Deshpande, advised by Brian McGurko. Dr. Jason Brent Smith, advised by Jason Freeman. Dr. Lauren Cagney McCall, advised by Jason Freeman. Dr. Raghava Simhan Sankaranarayanan, advised by Gil Weinberg. Dr. Iramofu Mark Dominic. Dr. Pei Na Liu, advised by Kathy Rupar Wang. Dr. Rui Chi Ju, advised by Sridhar Narasimhan.
Dr. Christopher Howard, advised by William Hunt and Kenneth Allen.
Dr. Yiran Ren, advised by Thackeray Brown. Dr. Sibley Francis Lindgaard, advised by Philip Ackerman and Ruth Canfer. Dr. Robert Thaddeus Ashwill, advised by Sashank Varma. Dr. Yi Pin Se, advised by Ting Zhu. Dr. Bao Li, advised by Graham James Kennedy. Dr. Jay Wong, advised by Polo Chow. Dr. Julia Harrison, advised by Richard Catramboni and David Harrison. Dr. Bharat Kanwar, advised by Anirban Mazumdar and Stephen Balakirsky.
Dr. Sam Hart, advised by Lightsey and Romero Calvo.
Dr. Samiksha Kaul, advised by Annalise Pabby. Dr. Brian Freeman Cochran, advised by Dr. Bert Brass. Dr. Shweta Dutta, advised by Morris Cohen. Dr. Yida Peng, advised by Wenting Sun. Dr. De Tang Yan, advised by Deepak Divan. Dr. Kartavya Agarwal, advised by Deepak Divan. Dr. Ning Guo, advised by Lucas Graber. Dr. Justin Zhang, advised by Mariam Saidafard. Dr. Xiyuan Wang, advised by Matthew R. Block. Dr. Ching Lun Tai, advised by Raghupati Sivakumar. Dr. Xiaohan Yu, advised by A.J. Medford. Dr. Yuge Hu, advised by Andrew J. Medford. Dr. Si-Hun Choi, advised by Andrew J. Medford. Dr. Chao-Si Wang, advised by Ashok K. Goel. Dr. Elorm John Agra, advised by Dr. John Petros. Dr. Zhongyu Yang, advised by Yichang James Tsai. Dr. Aaron Fenig, advised by Joseph LaChance. Dr. Jaewon Lee, advised by Hyesun Kim. Dr. Chi Yu Yang, advised by Zhuomin Zhang and Wenshan Tai. Dr. Nu Quin T. Wen. Dr. Jiao O Chen, advised by Di Yi Yang. Dr. Fernando Vasconcelos da Senora, advised by Professor Glaucio H. Paulino. Dr. Eunbi Kim, advised by Susan Embretson. Dr. Xiaoliang Yang. Dr. Zainab Ibrahim Saeed Al-Riyami, advised by Joseph Montoya. Dr. Chu-Shi Lee. Dr. Yulian Zhang, advised by Benoit Montreuil. Dr. Xinyue Pan, advised by Benoit Montreuil. Dr. Edith Gunay, advised by Mary Ann Whitenauer. Dr. Adam Wilson Garlow, advised by Jonathan Rogers. Dr. Cameron Tyler Perry, advised by Alastair Dove. Dr. Brian Sang, advised by Farouk Ayazi. Dr. Fan Song, advised by Tae-Soo Kim. Dr. Mohammed Adnan, advised by Azad Naimi. Dr. Siri Narla, advised by Azad Naimi. Dr. Arjun Majumdar, advised by Dhruv Batra. Dr. Sean Charles Yee, advised by Matthew Gombole. Dr. Pradyumna Vijay Tambwekar, advised by Matthew Gombole.
All right. You guys did that beautifully, by the way. Followed directions. Must have been the instruction you received from Dr. Jacobs earlier. I don't know. All right, so this is the last part of the proceedings. This is a very important part. Will all graduates please rise? Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the Georgia Institute of Technology and by authority of the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I now confer upon each of you a doctoral degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Please join me in congratulating these impressive new Georgia Tech PhDs. Congratulations. And we ask, one last request, we ask that the graduates remain standing, if you can, as the President's Party recesses. Then I invite all of you to join in the singing of the greatest fight song in the world, the Ramblin' Wreck. Graduates should remain at their seat until the conclusion of the fight song. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful day.
in our hearts you shall forever fly. I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a hell of an engineer. A hell of an engineer. Like all the jolly good fellows, I drink my whiskey clear. I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a hell of an engineer. Oh, if I had a daughter, sir, I'd dress her in white and gold and put her on the campus to cheer the brave and bold. And if I had a son, sir, I'd tell you what he'd do. He would yell, "To hell with Georgia!" like his daddy used to do. Oh, I wish I had a barrel of rum and sure 3,000 pounds. A college bell to put it in and clap it to stir it round. I drink to all the good fellows who come from far and near. I'm a rambling, gambling, hell of an engineer. Hey!
Congratulations, graduates. Those graduates, please exit from behind the stage.